Hey guys, what's up? And I'm back with another video. Today I have some very interesting news because I just got to know that Barry Silbert from DCG has invested in 13 Bittensor subnet tokens. So in this video, I'm going to cover what those 13 subnet tokens are and why Barry Silbert taking an interest in Bittensor is good news for TAO, and focusing on these 13 Bittensor subnet alpha tokens gives us a very clear insight of where the big opportunities rest. So let's dive in. All right, as always, let's start with the TAO chart. We can already see in the last 4 days since we've started covering in detail the TAO ecosystem, the project was kind of trending at around 375, 380. And in the last 3 days alone, the token has gone from 380 to 420. So that's like a 10% return. Like compare that to Bitcoin, and you're probably 3 times in terms of daily returns. So this is actually great news because we can already see interest for TAO is building up, and this momentum is great news for the entire ecosystem because, in my opinion, the reflexivity with which TAO grows will create the flywheel effect for all of the alpha tokens trading on top of Bittensor, and for value to TAO to finally move from the main blockchain to many of these other applications or machine learning models being built on top of the Bittensor ecosystem. Now, the big news. These are the 13 subnets that Barry Silbert is investing in. Yuma, if you don't know what Yuma Group is a company that Barry Silbert has recently founded. He is the founder and CEO of Yuma Group, and the goal of Yuma Group is to essentially go on and focus on accelerating decentralized intelligence on Bittensor. So guys, DCG, as we already know, has been one of the oldest, most powerful corporations powering the crypto ecosystem. They are the creators or the owners of the Grayscale BTC Trust, which was probably one of the first Bitcoin ETFs in the market. And their goal is to essentially recreate the entire infrastructure and the financial might that they used to put Bitcoin as front and center in the American traditional financial market, and they want to do the same thing for TAO. I want to pause here and I want you to think about this, because this dude, who is a self-made multi-billionaire who has taken BTC to America, is now going all guns blazing on TAO. So that's incredible news. Okay, so now we're going to look at the 13 subnets that he's talking about, and we're going to go through each one of them step by step and cover each one of them. I'm going to go in ascending order, which is I'm going to start with the subnet which is subnet 6 and move on. So subnet 6 is Infinity Games. I, by the way, covered subnet 6 in detail in my last video. So if you haven't checked it out already, watch it right here. Anyways, but I'll give you a quick overview of what Subnet 6 was. Yesterday we looked at Subnet 6. Subnet 6 is essentially building a model to predict the future. What this means is it is organizing miners, and these miners are using large language models instead of statistics, which is the traditional way of looking at prediction. And in doing predictions, we're looking at historical data to make future predictions. But in this case, they want to leverage an LLM's capability to reason and to think through and then imagine the future, right? And so this could be a very different use case. We're already seeing the application of Subnet 6 because they've also built Aeon 5100, which we discussed yesterday, which is a prediction market, prediction market application where you can go in there and participate in various ongoing prediction markets. Now, I want to stress enough that this could be an incredibly huge use case, especially with the X partnering with Polymarket recently. I think the demand for for this kind of a prediction market model is going to be humongous. Now, the next one that I want to talk about that Barry Silbert has invested in is Sturdy Subnet. Now, what Sturdy essentially does is it enables automated asset allocation. So you have a bunch of different asset managers, or who are using their own models or their own expertise, competing to manage a sum of capital and double and basically earn the highest returns on it. So now you have these different people who are competing, and you have these different, asset allocation models which are being developed. And these asset allocation models would then be used to create automated or autonomous investment strategies on chain. Just today I was covering the Giza token. I don't know if you know about Giza Tech, but this is one of the hottest decentralized financial artificial intelligence plays in crypto today, operating on the base protocol, and they already manage 80. They already are driving almost $80 million of volume on basis DeFi protocols. So clearly, the market for AI enabled or AI augmented investment strategies is going to be the big play. I've always said this, and I'll continue to say this, that DeFi is not made for humans. DeFi is made for intelligent agents to go out there, search for yields, and help you autonomously manage your portfolio. And I think Sturdy Subnet is going to be an incredible value player. Now, the third subnet that he has invested in is called Massify. Now, what is Massify trying to do? What Massify is trying to do is essentially create a real-time data platform. What does that mean? What it means is, if you go back and think about the fundamental first principles of AI agents, there are essentially three things. Like there's data, there's compute, and there's the algorithm, which is the machine learning algorithm. Now, data is such a foundational need for high quality AI that if you don't have quality data sets, it's impossible to create, personalized models, financial agent models, trading agent models. You need that historical data, and you need that in not only in breadth but also in quality, well tagged, well organized. And that's exactly what Massify is doing. It is incentivizing miners to coordinate, different data, create these data sets, and then they are empowering AI agent builders to join their platform and then create various, unique and personalized AI agents, all the way from, conversational AI agents to prediction market agents, market analysis, trading, you name it, and more. This, I think, is going to be the cutting edge, because the next breed of agents are going to be personalized. They're going to have access to specific knowledge and intelligence, and that specific knowledge and intelligence will allow them to go out there and serve us better. Next on the list is Subnet 44, Score Vision. I've also I spoke about Score Vision in the video that I put out yesterday. If you haven't seen that yet, you can watch it here. Subnet 44 Score Vision is essentially building a computer vision model. Their first target is sports, and also within sports, they're looking at the soccer, football market. What they are essentially doing is they're taking all of this, all of the football feed which is available, and they're training a machine to see and identify what's happening on the screen. So they are basically empowering a machine to see. What will be the utility of something like this? Prediction market agents, sports betting, sports analytics. Like, these are hundreds of billions of dollars worth of businesses, and it's extremely hard to do it in a more efficiently. And by leveraging Bittensor's incentive frameworks, Score Vision is probably creating one of the first, sports computer vision models, which I think will be in great demand in coming times. So keep an eye on Score Vision. Definitely one of my top picks in the Subnet Alpha race. Now, this one is pretty much new, but what Subnet 54 essentially is trying to do is to create an AI-powered compliance testing model to prevent financial fraud. Now, I don't want to get into the details of this, but globally, fraud costs Americans $450 billion alone. From a global standpoint, that number is $2 trillion. So we're losing a lot of money due to financial crimes, and they're building some kind of an AI-assisted compliance tooling for enterprises to detect and prevent financial crimes. I am always a fan of big boring enterprise use cases, because big boring enterprise use cases have a strong need. Those needs are usually driven by some kind of a regulatory moat, and having something like this, being able to do it at a much better in a much better way than traditional alternatives would be a huge value proposition and unlock. Okay, so from Subnet 54, we move to Subnet 55. Now, what is the Precog Subnet? Long story short, it is incentivizing, top-notch Bitcoin traders and market analysts to predict the price of BTC real time. Now, there are many utilities to it, all the way from prediction markets to kind of getting into the larger trading ecosystem. But definitely keep an eye on it, and keep track of how this subnet is performing. It's again Subnet 55, Precog Subnet. The next big bet by Barry Silbert and Yuma is Subnet 58, which is Dippy. And with Dippy empathetic speech, it's essentially they're trying to create the world's first intelligent speech-to-speech model, where the AI is having a conversation with me just like a real human would do. In my own experience, after using the voice mode on ChatGPT's mobile application, I was simply blown away by the quality of conversations that I was having. I think it's excellent. The fact that it's a centralized company makes me nervous. And so by Dippy creating a speech model which could one day be at par or even better than OpenAI, could unlock a wave of conversational AI use cases and enterprise and consumer level applications that could be huge. So keep an eye on Dippy, Barry Silbert's top picks, and definitely also one of mine. The next one that I want to bring about is again a boring use case, but one that would be interesting, which is Subnet 60 Bitsec. The whole idea of Subnet 60 is to essentially create an AI model or an agent which would act as a code auditor. Companies spend billions of dollars to secure their code. Having an intelligent code auditor working in real time to track vulnerabilities in your code is extremely important. I mean, I can give you my own example. Having spent now 4 years working in crypto, I have seen up close and personal how how smart contract hacks have led to billions of dollars of losses. So by having something like this, it will not only reduce the cost it takes to manage and secure your code, but at the same time have real-time flexibility and insights into any evolving vulnerabilities and nip it in the bud. So trust me, guys. I think these kind of use cases are extremely required. They are in high demand today, and there are not even enough auditors available out there to do quality audits. So AI is the way to go here, guys. Subnet 60, Bitsec, top pick for Barry Silbert, top pick for me. The next one, kind of very similar, is Subnet 61, which is focused on cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Again, I think something related to do with securing the code, securing the underlying software, and huge in-demand requirements. As always, keep an eye on RedTeam, guys. The next one that I want to show you is Subnet. Which one is this? It's Subnet 70, which is Vericore, which is essentially creating a fact-checking AI. So we all know how much information is being generated around the world with AI today. There's going to be a time where it's going to be extremely difficult for us to know what's real versus what's fake. They are building an intelligence solution which will allow you to detect deep fakes, which in my opinion is one of the biggest problems that we will face, especially in the world of in the digital world, with respect to our identity, with respect to information. This is an essential need in the market, not just for the government, for banks, for society in general, because we need truth to make the right decisions. So keep an eye on Vericore Subnet 70. I think a very interesting play. The next one that I want to cover is Street Vision by NEX Network. Now, this is a subnet. This is a subnet which is essentially focused on creating an image inference solution. This is subnet 72, by the way, and there's going to be a huge need. I think they're building an enterprise use case because they say the idea is to run image inference to extract information such as construction sites. So they are not only looking at image classification, but object detection as well, which has probably some use cases in the construction industry and maybe tomorrow in the larger, broader industry. I want to spend a second and talk about NEX because NEX is not just not just building that subnet. They have their own token called NEX, and it's basically a global map network of smart cameras. So they're kind of building this large AI camera network and deepen, so we can see and observe the entire world. Maybe build like a better version of Google Apps or other technologies that we might need. So keep an eye on the subnet 72 Street Vision. Now the last one on the list is Flock. The reason I highlight Flock is because Flock again is building a private AI training platform. They have their own token called Flock, which is right now live. They're in the decentralized training space, and they use federated learning, which is the technology to train models at the edge without revealing the underlying information. So it allows you to do private AI training. Essentially, I can keep my data private and I can still train the model, and so the model can learn from it. I think this is an incredible use case, and the goal of this subnet 96 is essentially to organize, to incentivize creating high quality data sets for machine learning at the edge. And as I've always said, your model is only as good as the underlying data. And so by running these computations, organizing, curating, and creating these data sets, you will be able to create much better models. Much better models is much better intelligence. Much better intelligence is much better AI applications and agents. So again, I think this is an incredible set of subnets. It is good to see that somebody with strong industry backing and background, such as Barry Silbert, is taking a personal interest not just in the Bittensor ecosystem or the TAO token, but rather in many of these subnets which are building intelligence.